Hello, Sister Bhante.
Hello, Bhante,
Yes, yes.
Chandima. How are you? Sadhu, and good evening, dear Dharma brothers and sisters. I think we shall start since it's 8:30 already. On behalf of Buddhist Mahavihara, we would like to welcome you to our Monday night Dharma Dana study class. Monita, and I will be introducing Bhante Dr. Chandima this evening. Now, the Buddhist Mahavihara has been conducting the Monday night Sutta classes since July 2023 with the assistance and dedication of Bhante Dr. Chandima all the way from Canada. And Bhante Chandima will be discussing the Pattakamma Sutta, Accomplishment in Trust, where Bhante will analyze and explain in detail, which was a question raised by Anatta Pindaka to the Buddha. This Sutta class is sponsored by Durga AP Vegetable and Family, the estate of Lee Gek Huan. Now, before I officially hand over to Bhante Dr. Chandima, I would like to introduce you to Bhante, where we have heard so much about. Bhante is the associate editor of the Journal of International Buddhist Studies, which is published by the Buddhist Research Institute of Mahachulalongkorn, Rajavidyalaya University, which is a mouthful in Thailand. He was previously a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society in University of Victoria back in Canada. Bhante Dr. Chandima was also the Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada from 2012 to 2016. Bhante is currently the senior advisor to Patisota, which I believe quite a few of you may be following Patisota as well. I know, a virtual Dharma organization that hosts a weekly online Pali reading class, Sutta discussions, Dharma talks, and other variety of Dharma activities. His Dharma works can be accessed in patisota.blogspot.com. Bhante, all yours. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Sister Monica. Good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back to another Sutta discussion at BMV on Mondays. Today is going to be day 36. So before we get started, shall we pay respect to the Buddha? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Last Monday, we discussed about uh, the fourth, what you call, wish of a layperson, which was to be reborn in a uh, better place after the death. And I also mentioned to you that in order for someone to fulfill these four wishes, uh, everyone, I would say, as a layperson, all have to fulfill another four things. They are mostly states of minds. So today we are going to discuss those four accomplishments. I mean, I'm not going to discuss all four. The first one. Now, if you can go back and see the wishes, four wishes, may wealth arise to me righteously. That was the first wish. And then, may good reputation come to me and to my teachers, and then family members. Number three, may I live longer. Number four is may I be reborn in a better place. Now, just because you wish these four wishes, they won't happen because it is said that they are ittha. Ittha means everyone wishes for these four to come true. They are kanta. They are highly desired by everybody. They are manapa. They are highly agreeable. Everybody agrees to have these four. And then dullabha lokasmin, it is very rare many people to come through for different reasons. But honestly, you could fulfill these wishes by accomplishing four states of mind. As you can see in the sutta, let's go back. This is the starting point of the sutta. Bhoge me uppajjantu, number one, wish. Then bhoge ladda sahadam me, number two, second wish. And then diga upajjai chirang jivan, third wish. And then chirang jivitva digamayun palitva kaya sabeda parang sugatin sanggam lokang upajjami, wish number four. Now wishes are done at this point. Then what is happening is that you can see there's a phrase ime sanko gahapati, might be a little clear. Ime sanko gahapati chatunnang dhammanang itthanang kantanang manapanang dullabhanang lokasmin chattaru dhamma patilabhaya sangha. You can see here there are household anadapindika, four other things that lead to obtaining those four things. That means in order for you to go to these four wishes, you need to fulfill four things, right? As you can see here, saddha, sila, chaga, and panya. That means even to succeed in your four wishes as a layperson, you need to practice certain spiritual qualities. What do you think, Dhamma folks? Now, everybody wants to come through their wishes. They want to have good money in good ways, ethical ways. They want to have a good reputation, and to that to them and to other people in his or her family circles, teachers. Everybody wants to live longer. Everybody wants to be reborn in a better place. Everybody would like to have it, regardless of Buddhist, Hindu, anybody, right? Some religions they have some what do you call boundaries about the next life, but still they want to be reborn in the heaven. Now, just because everybody would like to have these four, they don't happen the way how they wish or how they expect. The Buddha says if someone wants to achieve these four wishes, they must practice four mental states. There are mental states primarily. So, as I said just a while ago, the first one is saddha, second is sila, third is chaga, fourth is panya. Saddha. Now, there are translations that have been done for this saddha, Pali word saddha, S-A-D-D-H long name. They have translated this word to be faith. We understand in the Buddhist teachings, we don't have a faith. We don't have what you call a faith about anybody. It is an understanding that someone has towards the Buddha Dhamma Sangha by doing a personal verification about his teachings and how they apply to oneself. So there's a problem for Saddha to be understood as faith. I would rather say it's a trust, T-R-U-S-T, trust about the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. We need that trust, you know. And if you can see faith, the English word faith that comes from a background of believing or probably blindly or maybe believing in the God. But in Buddhism, we don't have that. We respect the deities, but we don't have this thing called a blind belief of the God or anybody. So that's why uh, trust could be a better term. Trust or maybe confidence when it comes to oneself. If you ask me, how could I say the kind of the trust about myself and yourself? You say I need to boost my self confidence, and for other people, I need to build up trust uh, toward my family, my better half, my children, other people. So they could be better termed, still better. Okay, so these four must be practiced. But today we are going to pick up the first one, Saddha. But let's finish this phrase over here. Saddha Sampada, Sila Sampada, Chaga Sampada, Panya Sampada. Saddha. All right, this is the phrase. Khatamacha Gahapati. Gahapati means Gahapati. Gaha. What is Gaha? What is Pati? Gaha means, I think some might not understand this term from. Maybe I'm not right. Gaha. Speak it like this. Gaha. What does Gaha mean? Gaha means house. Gaha means house. Gaha. Then we have the word called Pati. Pati. Pati means Pati means owner, owner, master, right? Gahapati. Now, mostly when you say Gahapati, this is a masculine term, male. If you want to say a female, we call it Patini then. See? Patini, Gahapatini, female. If not, Gahapati. Gahapati, Gahapatini. Pati means male. Then if you add ni, Patini, female, right? Gahapatini. So here, Katamacha Gahapati Saddha Sampada. Now, the Buddha asks from the Anathapindika, what is Saddha Sampada? Then he explains, Ida Gahapati Arya Savaku Sadhu. Now, you, as a noble disciple, needs to be accomplishing in the Saddha. You have to improve Saddha. Then how can you improve Saddha? What to do? Saddhahati Tathagatassa Bodhi. Saddhahati Tathagatassa Bodhi Saddha. I would say number one. Number two. Tathagatassa means of the Buddha. Bodhi means awaken. You have to trust the Buddha's enlightenment or awaken. Actually, we trust about his enlightenment. We don't have any problem unless we have a problem in not being able to understand what it is in our own way. So, Saddha basically means uh, trusting about the Buddha's awakening. Is there anybody who has a problem about the Buddha's awakening over here? You might not understand it by experiment because our minds are not that developed. But at least you have a certain approval, acceptance within you that, oh, Buddha, he had attained enlightenment, awakening. That is what we call uh, Tathagatassa Bodhi. Bodhi means awaken. Tathagatassa means of the Buddha. And then Saddhata means I trust about the Buddha's awakening. Now, do you believe when other people making some statements outside, Today, early morning, around 6 a.m., I became a Sotapan. Would you trust that person? This is maybe a YouTube video. Today, around 5 p.m., I suddenly felt like something going on in my mind. I think I became an Anagami. So we would not believe, we would not trust in that perspective because we need some verifications. So, uh, how can you have Saddha? The trust about the Buddha is that trusting about his awakening. Okay? Then, how to do that? Basically, we know we have to trust in. The usual statement about the Buddha's qualities now comes in. Probably I'm going to, yeah. What is it? From here. Itipiso Bhagava Araham, number one. Samma Sambuddho, number two. Vichacharana Sampanno, number three. Sugato, number four. Lokavidu, number five. Anuttaru Purusadhamma Sarathi, number six. Satta Devamanusanan, uh, number seven. Buddho, number eight. Bhagava, number nine. What does it mean? Now, when someone uh, is to trust about the Buddha's awakening, that means that person is having a good understanding about the nine great qualities of the Buddha. That is how you can become a person who has saddha. You are going to not even having saddha, you are going to accomplish, you are going to grow in that understanding of the Buddha. Now the problem is whether many of you have a good understanding about these nine virtues. When you trust about the Buddha's awakening, that means you must have a, I would say, a basic understanding, at the same time, a thorough understanding about these nine qualities. When you go to a vihara, when you go to a Buddha puja, Bodhi puja, the Bhantes or maybe somebody else, they are reading the screen, Itipiso Bhagava, Araham Samma Sambuddha, Vijja Charana Sampan, Sugatu, Lokavidu, Anuttaru Purisadhammasa, Sattha Deva Manusa, Buddho Bhagavat. How many of us know what these qualities mean? That means if we don't know what they are, we are not having a good understanding about the Buddha's great qualities. That means we don't have enough saddha. Before I jump on to these nine great qualities, I would like to discuss about the Pali word saddha. Then we will jump on to the nine great qualities depending on our time today. Now you basically understand how can you become a person who has saddha? You need to trust in the Buddha's awakening or enlightenment. How to do that? By learning, understanding about Buddha's nine great qualities. Okay, what does saddha mean in the text? If you look at many suttas across the canon, what does saddha mean? Now, if you if you read the early suttas, uh, you may end up with two understanding. I'm talking about uh, two basic understanding about the saddha. Most people, when they learn a lot of suttas, they are normally end up with an understanding saddha is not important. That means, in their words, faith. Today I told you faith is not a good translation. Trust about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha is not very important. Just reading certain suttas and thereby following the meditation and certain things, I will be making a progress in the Buddha's teachings. So they always go by the rational perspective, investigation perspective about the teachings of the Buddha. But there may be another set of people who might say, suttas are too deep to us, we don't understand what they are. Pali, if you read from Mahayana Sanskrit terms, too much for us, too many words, too many things. So I better do my own chanting, my Buddha puja, Bodhi puja, my dana, and all that. I come back home. So these two are, I would say, misunderstandings of the Buddha's teachings. Then what is saddha? Is saddha very important to us? Yes, saddha is very important to us. But mere saddha alone is not going to make an impact on us. Let's say someone has a perspective that I don't want to learn Dhamma. I just only respect, venerate, and I do only that part. So this will end up that person in a blind trust about, even you might not get stuck in the Dhamma in that way, but still you need to develop another aspect. We call it Panya aspect, wisdom aspect. Normally, our Dhamma journey starts with Saddha, ends with Panya. That's a good way to look at this Pali term. How do we start our Dhamma journey? Saddha. It doesn't mean that you are going to, drop Saddha. Then you are growing, you are working towards the Panya with that Saddha. So that means Saddha is very important. Why is Saddha very important? Saddha is very important because if you don't trust the Buddha, Dhamma Sangha as well, then you are not able to make any progress in your Sutta readings, in your Dhamma understanding. That is why if you see a lot of people, they have a lot of Dhamma in their heads, in their brain, but that Dhamma has not come down to their hearts. Why is it? They don't have enough Saddha towards the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So we need to equally develop what you call Saddha too. Saddha and Panya must be practiced together. If you think that I don't need to respect, I don't need to be grateful towards the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. I only follow Dhamma from my home. I just read only. I can do everything from a virtual perspective. That might be a misunderstanding. You need to go to a vihara. You need to associate these, what you call, kalyana mittas, maybe monks, maybe other upasaka upasikas, right? You need that exposure to respect. When you respect, when you are very grateful towards Buddha Dhamma Sangha, whatever you are going to learn from a class like this, whatever you are going to learn from anywhere else, going to work out in your life. Otherwise, you write down, bring that paper back home, you will keep it as a note. You will keep it as a knowledge kind of thing. So the importance of Saddha kicks in a way that we have gratitude towards the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Now, when you come to the puja hall, you see there are two elevators. Huh? They have mentioned the two names. What is it called? Saddhanusari, Panyanusari. No, Dhammanusari. Saddhanusari, Dhammanusari. Isn't it? Did you notice that? They have mentioned these two terms. Saddhanusari elevator, Dhammanusari elevator. Right? They say faith follower and then Dhamma follower. Who are these people? They are the ones who are going to become Sotapannas. These are pre-Sotapanna stages. Two pre-Sotapannas. That means there is one person who is only working on Saddha part, and the other person who has Saddha at the same time who is also working on the Dhamma part. Saddha Panya must go together. Don't only do Saddha. Don't only do Panya. Saddha Panya. Start with Saddha, then you have to balance out Saddha part, trust about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha part, and then learning the Dhamma and then become wise part. These both have to go hand in hand. They cannot go along, right? You cannot pick on one or the other because they are equally important. If you look at the Buddha's uh, teachings, you see a sutta called Chunky Sutta. Majjhima Nikaya is chunky. Now, Chunky Sutta and then the Sandaka Sutta, these two suttas, I think they are very important suttas. If I can, I would say, give you the reference of this sutta. Yeah, Majjhima Nikaya 95. You have some time. You can read this. Chunky. Chunky Sutta, MN 95. Sorry about that. MN 95. Yeah, MN 95. And then the other one is Sandaka Sutta, also Majjhima Nikaya. And it here, Sandaka. Sandaka Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya, 76. Sandaka and Chunky. Now, I want to tell you that these are the two suttas where Buddha says that how to start your Dhamma journey. The Buddha says, Saddha Jato Upasankam. Any person who wants to follow the Buddha's teachings must have Saddha in the first place. Saddha is very important. When you have enough Saddha, you are given a title. People are calling you by a title. Can you remember that title? When you have enough Saddha, there is a particular Pali term for males and females, and then how they are recognized. What is that Pali term? Have you ever heard this term? Upasaka. Upasaka. Upasaka means someone who has gone to Buddha Dhamma Sangha. How to go to Buddha Dhamma Sangha? Buddhang saranang gacchami. How to go to Buddha? How to go to Buddha for the second time? How to go to the Buddha for the third time? By Saddha. You might not understand this. Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhamma. Dutiyampi Sangha. Tatiyampi Buddhang. Tatiyampi Dhamma. Tatiyampi Sangha saranang gacchami. How to go to the Buddha? First, second, third. How to go to the Dhamma? First, second, third. How to go to the Sangha? First, second, third. Only by Saddha. So when you go to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha for the first time, for the second time, for the third time, then what will happen? You are called as an upasaka. If you are a male, if you are a female, you are called as an upasika. Upasaka, upasika. That does not happen by learning the Dhamma in the first place. That only happens when you trust about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha repeatedly. Okay. Sangha does not mean the monks in your Vihara temple. Mostly these Sanghas are called these Arahants, and then those ones who are on the path and then who are on the fruit, they are also included. So it's a bigger community. So Saddha is the first place. If you say Chunky Sutta Majjhima Nikaya and then Sandaka. Buddha also says Saddha Jato Upasankam. If anybody wants to learn, follow the Buddha, they must initially have Saddha. Then they will come to listen to a Dhamma talk. Saddha Jato Upasankamati Pairupasa. Come to a vihara, come to a Buddhist center, get to know some books, some other things. Then they get to learn some Dhamma. Right? Pairupasanto Sotang Oda. When they know some monks and whoever, or those teachers, they're going to listen to them. Ohita Soto Dhammang Suna. So there's a certain process you can see in these two suttas. So Buddha recommends that you must have Saddha in the first place. But be careful. Just because you have the Saddha in the first place, you must go to Panya. You must practice Panya at the same time after this and then balance out these two. If you only have Saddha, according to Buddha says, you will become a person who is unwise. If you only have sattva, if you only have panya, you will become a person who is very cunning. So don't need to become a very unwise, what you call unwise person on the side and a cunning person on the side. Because saddha panya must be balanced out. They must go together. Now, if you look at these two suttas and then other things, there's a very interesting remark about one monk. I think you remember him. His name is Vakkali. Have you ever heard his name? Vakkali. This is his name. Vakkali. Vakkali. Who is Vakkali? Vakkali was a monk who always wanted to sit near the Buddha, and then next to Buddha, he wants to see the Buddha all the time. Like some people do, there's a Buddha statue always looking at it. And then Buddha one day said to him, this is not a good thing, you know. You only looking at me from physical perspective. He asked, what are you doing here? He said, Bhante, I became a monk just to see you. That's why I'm always coming next to you, and then I want to see you. Then the Buddha said, you cannot see me this way. You cannot see the Buddha just from a physical perspective on. How to see the Buddha? How to see the true Buddha? Then he said, Yo paticca samuppadang passati, so dhamma passati. If you want to learn the Dhamma, you must learn what is paticca samuppada, the 12 parts of the sansaric circle. Avijja, Sankhara, Vijnana, Nama Rupa, Salayatana, Passa, Vedana, Tanha, Upadana, Jati, Jara, you know, and then what do you call these 12? Uh, Jara Marana, these 12 parts of the cycle. When you learn these 12 enough, then only you understand what is Dhamma. Then, when you know that Dhamma, you Dhammang Passati, Somang Passati, then only you can see who I am, who the Buddha is. Then he said, looking at me does not make any sense to you, to your spiritual practice. Go and practice, go and learn some Dhamma and then practice, improve that understanding. The Buddha said to him, it doesn't mean that somebody to keep a Buddha statue in his or her room or in his house and then watching it then feel peaceful. But the bigger, what you call purpose of learning uh, Dhamma is to learn the important parts of Dhamma and then to see the Buddha through that Dhamma understanding. And later on, this what you call Vakkali, Bhante Vakkali, was given a designation by the Buddha. He is the foremost monk who has a lot of saddha. He is the foremost monk who has a lot of saddha on the Buddha. Anyways, that is how we see saddha at different places. But later on, what happened? When the Buddha passed away, then after 300 years of, probably around 300 years of time, you know, the Emperor Ashoka's time came in. Then during the Ashoka's time, uh, King Ashoka uh, respected a lot of what he called relic worship and then other things, stupas as well. So what happened then, the Saddha came out for these aspects. And even after that, by the 6th century, you see the Mahayana perspectives came in, where they said that there is Avalokiteshvara side for the compassion side, and there's Manjushri for the wisdom side. There are living Buddhas. It's not the historical Buddha anymore. The historical Buddha passed away, but now you have to think there's a living Buddha. It's called Avalokiteshvara in heaven. He has lots of compassion. And then Manjushri has lots of panya. And then this was developed uh, time by time. Then by the 13th, 14th century time, you see that in Japan, Pure Land Buddhism, Chan Buddhism, Buddha Amitabha concepts, they all came in. They all have a certain line. The line is Saddha. Saddha was taken out for different perspectives. But we are talking about the living, what you call the historical Buddhas, early Buddhist perspectives about Saddha. Saddha basically means having an unwavering trust. This is interesting. Aveccha pasad. Let me write that for you. Another term for the saddha is, now this is saddha. Another term that we need to understand with saddha is pasad. Pasad. What does pasad mean? Now, saddha means that you are trying to have a trust about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha by understanding. But what is the quality, the affective quality? We call it affective. You feel it. When you have saddha, you feel something. What do we call it? Pasad. Now, saddha is just an understanding. Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Here, Buddha. But then when you have a lot of saddha, then you start to feel something within. We call it pasad. This is that Pali term. They all are connected. See, saddha to pasad. Now, it is said that what is a very important, maybe a developed state of saddha, that is pasad. We call it aveccha pasad. Aveccha means unwavering trust about the Buddha Dhamma. You have an unwavering means unchanging, not changing saddha. Is your saddha changing sometimes? When you see a wrong thing in a vihara, when you think an unfair thing that is happening somewhere, when you see, I don't want to name, different things, when you get to see different things, do you think your saddha is changing? Like you were trying to help out this temple, this Buddhist center, that place, maybe a particular person. You feel, I'm not going to do that now. Why? Something happened to your saddha, right? Maybe you are trying to decide certain things. Of course, you don't have to uh, do things for something that is not really worthy enough. But do you think that your saddha is your saddha changing, or is very stable? Is it very stable, uh, unwavering, or is it changing? If it is changing for whatever the reason, that means you don't have enough saddha. Your saddha has to be unwavering. But then how to respond to injustice? How to respond to uh, you know unfair things? By understanding those local things in their own perspectives. Let's say you know a certain person in a Buddhist center, right? But over time you hear some not good news, probably. Then you might, if you don't have enough saddha, you will feel a little different. Maybe you might add this to your whole understanding about Sangha, maybe other things. You don't have to. There are different people everywhere in the world, right? In any industry, there are people. There are different people. So we have to understand that my Saddha is not based on one person. My Saddha is based on the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha, those Arahant Sangha, those people. Nobody can change my Sangha. That should be the understanding. Otherwise, if you only keep trusting one particular person, if that person got changed, then your Saddha also will change. You don't have to. All right. So now you understand Saddha and Pasad. What's the Pali word? Pasad. Pasad is the state of your feeling after the uh, your understanding about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. All right, so let's learn some of the things about the Saddha now, especially the Saddha over here. We have to learn about the Buddha's qualities now. The first one, this is how you are going to have Saddha initially. So Bhagavan, that blessed one, as what you call Arahang. Arahang is Pali beta. Arahang. Arahang. Now, what does Arahang mean? What is the meaning of the Buddha's first quality? Have you ever thought about this Pali word Arahang? Itipiso Bhagava Arahang, the first quality of the Buddha. Why is the Buddha uh, named as Arahant? Arahant means there are a couple of things attached to this Pali term, quality. The first one is Arakatta Hatatat. The Buddha has cut the sansaric circle. Probably the earliest person that we know at this point. He cut the sansaric circle. Then he does not even make a mistake secretly. Na raho karoti papan. I think it's a very good thing to learn. Now, sometimes we can see that other people are doing bad things, and it's very visible. They are very visibly doing those things. They are killing, they are stealing, they are misbehaving, they are lying, and they are doing other bad things. But what do you think? Do you think there are people who are doing things secretly? How about you? Have you ever done any wrong thing very secretly? I mean, not about physical actions, not about verbal actions, speech. How about thoughts? I like Queen Malika. Queen Malika. Queen Malika made a mistake, that kind of a mistake. So, not other people see that, but you only know by yourself what you did. But in the Buddha's case, it is said that he does not even make a mistake, make an akusala, even secret. That has huge amount of honesty towards one. So we can say that he is Arahant. One is that he cut the sansaric circle completely, he uprooted, and then second is that he never uh, makes an akusala karma even secretly. And the third is it is a quality. The quality is that he is eligible to receive things from anybody in this whole universe. So there are three things that we understand for the Buddha's what you call first quality called Arahant. What are they? Number one is that he uprooted the sansaric circle. Number two is that he never uh, makes he never make an akusala karma even secret. Number three is that because of all these things, he is suitable for the offerings from, maybe he is suitable for the reverence, respect from anybody. This is why he is called Arahant. Now let's talk about what you call the second thing over here, the second characteristic for Arahant. We said that not doing any bad karma, even secretly. Have you ever heard the the quality of the mind when people do any bad karma secretly? We call it Maya. What do we call it? We call it Maya. Now, Maya means doing wrong things secretly and then hiding it. Even a Sotapanna doesn't do that. So Buddha never does it. So the first great quality of Buddha is called Arahant. Arahant means that there are three things that make the Buddha Arahant. Number one is that he uprooted the sansaric circle, sansaric life. Number two is that he does not even make an akusala, even secretly, even with the thought. And then third thing is that because of all these things, he is eligible for offerings from, maybe respect from everybody. That is arahant. Now, in order for you to have saddha in the first place, you must understand these three things with regard to arahant. Every time when you say itipiso bhagava arahant, then this this understanding has to come to your mind. Second is arahant, then samma sambuddha, isn't it? Samma sambuddha. You can see over here. All right. Samma sambuddha. What does it mean? Samma sambuddha basically means that the Shakyamuni Buddha became the full Buddha, Samma Sambuddha, fully enlightened Buddha, without the support of anybody. So he is self-enlightened. Even the Pacceka Buddha also self-enlightened. There are two main Buddhas, right? Samma Sambuddha and then Pacceka Buddha. What is the difference between these two? Pacceka Buddha is a Buddha who is appearing in the absence of the Samma Sambuddha. Now, when the Shakyamuni Buddha was living in India at that time, they can't have Pacceka Buddhas. Pacceka Buddhas only appear when the Samma Sambuddha is not living anymore. What is the difference these two individuals? Their enlightenment is same, their awakening is same. But Samma Sambuddha understands how to teach Dhamma to other people. Whereas Pacceka Buddha does not follow that, so he cannot give Dhamma to others. Normally we say Samma Sambuddha knows concepts very well. What are the concepts? Paticca Samuppada, Four Noble Truths, five aggregates, right? Anicca Dukkha Anatta. What are these terms? They are Panyati, we call them concepts, right? So Samma Sambuddha understands language and the proper Pali words, thereby he can teach the Dhamma to other people. Whereas the Pacceka Buddha does not learn those things. Pacceka Buddha is simply enlightened. It is like a professor who is a very erudite scholar, but cannot teach very well. Right? He's a very good, knowledgeable person, but cannot teach others. In order to teach somebody, you should know how to present it, right? So it's like that. So when you say Samma Sambuddha, even Pacceka Buddha also Samma, in a way they are having the same enlightenment. But we don't call them Samma Sambuddha because Shakyamuni Buddha and other Samma Sambuddhas, they are self-enlightened. At the same time, they know how to teach that Dhamma to other people. They know the concepts. So when you say Samma Sambuddha means Shakyamuni Sambuddha, other Samma Sambuddhas, they are self-enlightened. At the same time, they can teach Dhamma to other people. So you have to keep that in mind. That's the second quality, great quality of the Buddha. You can see over here. Arahant is number one, then Samma Sambuddha. Then Vijja Charan Samma. Number three. Vijja. Oh, these are two things. Vijja Charan. I think I have to write it over here. Let me write that for you. Vijja. Then Charan. Okay. There are 8 types of Vijja. There are 15 charanas. Now, when you say Vijjacharana Sampanno, this is the third quality of the Buddha. Great quality. That means Buddha has 8 knowledges, 8 higher knowledges. Then, Charana means he has 15 practices. He has 15 practices. I would say he had theory and practice. Theory wise, he has 8 knowledges. Practice wise, he has 15 uh, practices. You can search them online. If you can search Vijja Charana, you can check like this. 8 Vijja on internet. You can see what they are. Uh, they are specific knowledges that the Buddha has. We call them Atta Vijja, 8 Vijjas. And then the Buddha has 15 charanas. It's also a very long list. You can read them online. I'm not going to talk all about all that. There are 15 charanas. So now under the 15 charanas, you will see that there's one is called Jagaryan Yoga. Buddha does not sleep longer because his life is more focused on other people. It doesn't mean that you also have to stay up late night. That is the Buddha, and that's you. Called Jagaryan is one of his practices under Charana. 15 Charana is Jagaryan Yoga. So in that way, Buddha has 8 knowledges and 15 charanas. Thereby, he is called as what you call Vijja Charana uh, Sampanna, right? Vijja Charana Sampanna. Now, when it comes to your understanding about what is Vijja Charana Sampanna, Buddha possesses 8 knowledges and then 15 charanas. Normally, there is another sutta called Ambatta Sutta. Ambatta means, what's the name? Digha Nikaya is number 3, Ambatta. In this sutta, over here, probably, right? Ambatta, Ambatta, Ambatta Sutta. This is Digha Nikaya number 3. In this sutta, Buddha talks about a bird. All right, a bird. A bird has feathers, and then bird has a peck. Now, when the bird is going to a tree to eat a mango, maybe a fruit, the bird needs both what you call uh, feathers at the same times, uh, the peck, right? So the Buddha says that he is actually trying to relate these two. Feathers are actually similar to what you call charanas, and then the peck is similar to the 8 knowledges. So thereby, the bird is going to eat the fruit comfortably. Vijja and charana, they both are important. Now let's take it to our life. Theory and practice. What is more important? Some people say theory is important. Most people might say practice is. Actually, we need the both. We need the both theory and practice. But if you are someone who is only piling up, who is only noting a lot of things, but you never practice them, you get stuck in the knowledge theory. So we have to balance out these two and try to make the best out of these two, Vijjacharana. So the Buddha is said to have Vijjacharana, means that he has 8 knowledges and then he has 15 charanas. Then we are going to the fourth quality of the Buddha. Sugato, Sugato, Arahant, Samma Sambuddho, Vijjati, Sugato. I think I could probably include these 8 knowledges and 15 charanas in our notes. Huh? Don't worry, so you will learn them later. But now I'm going to give you a very easy, simple understanding. Don't worry, so I will, note them in the notes. So Sugato, what does Sugato means? Sugato. Gato means going, going. Sugato, well gone. To where? To where did the Buddha go in that good way? It is said that there are 2 ways to look at Sugato. One is that Buddha's physical walking is very pleasant. Why is it? When the Buddha walks, it is said that he cannot simply turn and then look at somebody. So it is said that Buddha's walking is like an elephant's walking. When an elephant is walking, can elephant turn to the side and see the back? So he has to turn the whole body to see that particular object behind him. In the same way, it is said the Buddha, as the noblest person, cannot simply just turn and see. He has to turn the whole body backward and to see. But normal humans, they just do it. Right? They are checking who is following them. So Buddha's walking, physical walking, is such noble. So that is one way to look at it. Second way is that his walking, his journey to become a Buddha, Samma Sambuddha, is very pleasant and very noble. How do we understand his journey to become the Buddha? How is he called during that time? We call him as a Bodhisattva. He's called a Bodhisattva. So his time as a Bodhisattva is such precious. The time that he fulfilled the paramitas. In Mahayana, they talk about 6 paramita. Theravada, they talk about 30 paramitas. 30, 30. You call it Theravada, early Buddhism. So the journey, how he fulfilled those paramitas, such a very noble uh, way how he practiced these paramitas. What are the paramitas, Dhamma folks? Can you remember the names? We take early Buddhist paramitas, 30 paramitas. Dana, Sila, Nekkamma. Dana, Sila, Nekkamma. Okay. Kanti, Viriya, Aditthana, Satcha, Metta, Upekka. So there are 10 paramitas. So each of these paramita was fulfilled by the Bodhisattva in 3 ways. Dana parami, Dana upaparami, Dana paramanta. So his way of fulfilling all these paramitas is such noble. We call it, he is Sugata. His journey to fulfill, his journey to, engage in those paramitas, such noble. So that's why he's called Sugata. Sugata means that. His uh, his normal walking is noble at the same time. His walking towards the Buddhahood is also very noble. So he's called Sugato. Then it's going to be the fourth one. Now, the fifth quality, great quality, Loka Vidu. Loka Vidu. What does Loka mean? Loka. What does Vidu mean? Loka. What does Loka mean? Is that the continent? Is that a country? No, here Loka means Kama Loka, Rupa Loka, Arupa Loka. In Buddhism, we have three main worlds. Kama Loka means these are none other than 31 places of rebirth. I think we discussed that last Monday. Kama Loka means the 4 hells, human space, and then the Deva world, 6 Deva worlds. So there you see 6 heavens, 6, then human space 5, then 4 apayas, 9 places. Then Rupa world has 16 Brahma world, 16. Arupa world has 4 Arupa world. So the Buddha knows these 31 places completely. Loka means those 31 places. Vidu means knower of all these 31 places. The knower of these 31 places. What does it mean by knowing these 31 places? Not even the geography of these places, but also the whims and fancies, ideas, thoughts about individuals of those different 31 places. How do they think? How are they born? How are they going to die? Why are they born there? Why they will be reborn in another place of interest? He knows all these details about these 31 places, along with the beings who are living, who are dying, who are reborn from those places. Loka, Vid. Now, keep in mind, I'm not simply explaining these qualities. Now, when you understand these qualities, you have to think that Buddha is as such. Buddha is Arahant. Buddha is Samma Sambuddha. Buddha is Vijjacharana Sambuddha. Buddha is Sugatu. Buddha is Lokavidu. Why he is Arahant? Why is Samma Sambuddha? Why is he Vijjacharana Sambuddha? Why is he Sugata? Why is he Lokavidwan? That understanding makes you a Saddha person. If you know why, then you have Saddha. Every time you come to a vihar, you do your puja in your house, you say, Itipiso Bhagavarahan Samma Sambuddhu Vijjacana Samma. Never know the meaning of what these qualities mean. So you won't have that particular Saddha that you must have. All right, so let's proceed to the next quality. Lokavidu then. Anuttaro Purisadammasar. It's going to be the sixth one. Anuttaro means unparalleled. Then Purisa means humans. Dhamma, Dhamma means Dhamma means Dhamma Purisa. D-A-M-M-A. What does this mean? D-A-M-M-A. This one. Let me write that for you maybe. So to write it down over here maybe. Dhamma. This one. Purisa Dhamma. What does Dhamma mean? It's not D-H-A-M-M-A. It's D-A-M-M-A. Dhamma means teachings, maybe somebody's doctrine. No, D-A-M-M-A means D-A-M-M-A means Dhamma. The Buddha had the ability to tame, T-A-M-E, tame, T-A-M-E, tame the individuals who cannot be tamed, who are untamed. You can see over here, is the teacher who can tame the Purisa untamed. Here Dhamma means taming, T-A-M-I, taming. Any examples? Yeah, a lot of examples. Alavaka, Angulimala, Nalagiri, Devadatta in a way, Chappagya monks. Many, many examples how the Buddha tamed these untamed individuals. Can we tame other people in the same way? We may not be able to do. Now, when the Buddha came back to his mother's father's city, Kapilavattu, after many years, what happened to him? Did the people in the Kapilavattu, his village people, his city people, did they accept him? They said, you are a young guy. We don't need to respect you. I think we should not respect you. You don't know anything. Then the Buddha had to do a certain miracle. We call it Yamaka Patihari, right? So he had to emanate water and fire from every place of the body, showing them I am different than you. That means sometimes if things are not going to have good factors, good conditions, you may have to make some miracles, but don't be in danger. Huh? But not everybody listen to Dhamma in the proper way. So we might have to be smart enough to handle certain people because different people are different. Now here, Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati means Buddha can tame the untamed. Right? Buddha can tame the untamed, even humans, animals, even some devas. What about the yakkas? Yakka. If you read about one particular sutta called Atanatya, in this Atanatya sutta, the first part of the sutta talks about yakkas. Did the yakkas agree to the Buddha? Who are the yakkas? People might call it the devils. These are the evil. Actually, they are devas. They are living in the Chatu Maharajika heaven. When the Buddha was giving some Dhamma talks to some yakkas started telling the Buddha, Bhante, we don't accept what you're talking about. Appati viratapana. We still want to kill other people. Yakkas kill other people, kill and eat. Yakkas mean the male yakka and the female yakka. And then we still want to steal other people's stuff. Appati virata. We still want to sexually misbehave. Even yakkas sexually misconduct. Appati virata kamisu michacha. Deva. They are Deva. And lower Deva, not the higher Deva. Appati virata musavada. We still want to lie to other people. That's our habit. Appati virata suramere majjapamadatta. We still want to drink. We want to eat. We don't care about the amount. We won't care about the moderation. Then these yakkas, they are devas, did not agree to the Buddha. But there were some other yakkas who agreed to the Buddha. What does it mean? Even there are people who didn't like the Buddha's teaching, some devas. That's why in some monks sharing the good karmas portion of the puja part, they say in Sri Lanka, they do it actually. Now we are going to give good karmas to the Samma Ditti Deva. Devas who are having good, they are friendly devas, Buddhist friendly devas actually. That means Buddha had to deal with different devas. There are some devas were not uh, friendly with the Buddha's teachings. Right? They are not good ones. Even remember the deva who was in the Anathapindika's house. Remember what happened? There was a time that Anathapindika's well was flooded. Something happened to his well. Most of them were flooded away. So now he went to the temple, Vihar, Jetavanarama. Then he said to the Buddha, Bhante, now I don't have a lot of money to offer dana, but I can barely give some food. I have some rice, but they are not very good quality one. I have a curry I can make, so also a very good one. When I want to offer some, what do you call, the gift, they are also not in very good quality. So please apologize. I apologize to you. Please forgive us. Then the Buddha said, it's okay. You don't mind about it. Whatever you have, you can come and offer if you want. During this time, when he was sleeping in his chamber of his house, palace, there was one person came to see the Buddha, Anathapindika. Anathapindika was a little startled. He asked, who are you? Then he said, uh, dear householder, I am the door deva in your front door. Right? There are many devas in the house. I'm the front door. So now I came to tell you, you have lost a lot of money now. I think you have lost because you have given dan already every day. So I think it's a better time to stop giving dan for some time. And the banker, Anatha Pintika, got very mad, just go out, get out of my chamber. I do what I want to do. Because that deva is not a good deva. That deva, why he doesn't like giving dan? Every time the monks come to the Anatha Pintika's house, he had to descend from the door, the top of the door, and respect the monks. He cannot just keep sitting over there, standing there. So he thought, this is a good time to tell the baron, banker, Anathapindika, now you stop giving dan, so I don't have to descend from my place in the front door. So this means there are different devas. Don't think that all devas are very good guys. They are not good ones. There are good ones. Normally we understand the good devas will come to you if you are a good person. If you practice Dhamma in the proper way, with the Noble Eightfold Path. So I want to tell you that when we need to understand Anuttaro Purusha Dhammasarthi, quality of the Buddha, Buddha had to deal with many individuals, monks, nuns, non-human beings, human beings, animals. He had to tackle them accordingly. I always share this story with many audiences. There is a very interesting sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya. We call it Kesi Sutta. In this sutta, there is a very famous horse trainer come to see the Buddha. His name is Kesi. When he came to see the Buddha, uh, then he asked a question from them. Actually, Buddha asked a question from him. Buddha asked, okay, you are a very famous horse trainer. I know you have lots of horses. I wonder how you train these horses. You have trained them, right? Then he said, yes, Bhante, I know how to train them. I have experts and I myself do that initially. I train them. Then Buddha asked, what if there's one horse who does not listen to you? Can happen, right? Many horses. One horse who might not listen to you. What would you do to that horse? I think it's a waste of time. I'm going to kill that horse. I have lots of horses. I don't have time to pay attention to all these horses, especially for one horse in this case. Okay. Then he was wondering about the Buddha's question. He asked the same question. Bhante, how about you? I think you have lots of monks here, a lot of monks in this Vihar, in other places. How would you handle a monk or a nun who is not following your advices for discipline? And the Buddha said, yes, I do the same thing just as you. I'm gonna kill that monk as well. Then Casey was a little scared, really. I heard that you are not killing anybody. You are teaching non-violence. But how are you going to kill, especially a monk? Then he said, I'm not killing how you kill. I stop giving advices from that moment onwards. If I understand that there's a monk nun who does not follow what I say for his or her spiritual journey, from that day onwards, I stop giving advices for his or her spiritual journey. That means that person is already killed, dead. Now, if you want to understand this more, think about a very good friend in your life, Kalyana Mitra. Something happens between you and that person. Suddenly he or she is not calling you, talking to you, and they stop talking. Something happened. Then from that day onwards, you feel that there's a huge loss, kind of empty space that's being created in this non-communication now. I feel like I'm not getting that spiritual vibe anymore. Even spiritual wise, or maybe in other good ways wise. So the Buddha had to deal with different people, different ways, but there were times that he could not fix certain individuals. One such individual was monk Devadatta. He could not help him because he's too bothered with his thoughts, his habits. There were other couple of other individuals too, right? But he could help many other beings. He could tame many untamed people. He could tame, and then he could bring them to the morality. He could bring them to the good discipline. He could bring them to a Dhamma journey. You just think about Angulimala, somebody who has had killed many human beings and became a monk and became an arahant. What kind of effort he must have done to bring this happen? So this is why the Buddha is called Anuttaro Purusadhammasami. The sixth great quality. Then Sattha Deva Manusana. Seventh one. Sattha means Satta. There are two Satta. This Satta and then this Satta. Is this here. This Satta means Satta. S-A-T-T long B. Satta means beings. Beings. This Sattha means teacher. 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 Sattha, teacher. For whom? Deva Manusana. To the Devas and to the human beings. Why are not the animals? Why don't you see animals over here? Why you don't see any ghost? Why you don't see animals? Why he is not the teacher to them? They cannot follow him. Only Devas and humans can follow the Buddha. Very good. Who are the Devas? Here Deva means not only the six heavens, but also all the Brahma worlds, Brahma realms. That means there are, in that case, 20 Brahma worlds, 6 heavens, 26 Devas. There are 26 types of Devas who are going to follow the Buddha. On the other hand, humans. We don't say this is only the human place. There may be other humans somewhere else living. So he is the teacher to the human beings and then Devas. He said that Devas coming to see the Buddha and then take a lot of advices from the Buddha at different times. And then Buddho. Buddho means Buddho. Buddho is going to be already number 8, and Bhagavan number 9. Buddho. Now, the Pali word Buddha is normally used to any enlightened person in the Buddhist teaching. It could be a Samma Sambuddha, it could be a Pacheka Buddha, it could be a Arahanta Buddha. Even an Arahant is also called as a Buddha. But here Buddha means something very interesting. Remember that there was a man who came to see the Buddha and asked from the Buddha, who are you? Are you a God? Are you a devil? Are you this and that? Then Buddha said, I am not any of them. And then the man asked from the Buddha, are you a human? Yes, but I'm not a normal human. I'm an extraordinary human. Then he was giving an example. He was giving the example of a lotus. A lotus, a lotus is coming from the mud, M-U-D, mud. But when the lotus is bloom, the lotus is not touching the mud and the water. In the same way, I was initially a human, but because of my sansaric journey's practice as a bodhisattva, I became an extraordinary human. So he then used a Pali Gatha to say this, Abhinyayang abhinyatam, bhave tabbancha bhavitam, paha tabbang pahinam me, tasma buddhosmi brahmin, abhinyayang abhinyata. If there is anything that I had to discern in my life, I had discerned already what they are. Then bhave tabbacha bhavita. If there's anything to be practiced, developed, I have practiced all of them. Paha tabbang, here Buddha says, If there's anything that I had to overcome, I have already overcome. Tasma Buddho Subram. Brahmin, that is why I am the Buddha. I have uh, discerned what is to be discerned. I have developed what is to be developed. I have overcome what is to be overcome. That makes me the Buddha. When you say then, Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati Satthadev Anusana Buddho. Buddho means Abhinyayam Abhinyat. Bhaveta Pancha Bhaveta. Pahatabam Pahina. Tasma Buddho Simbra. All right, the last great quality is going to be Bhagava. Bhagava. What does Bhagava mean? Some people translate Bhagava to be lucky one, blessed one. Right? But Bhagava means the person who has uprooted Lobha Dosa Moha. Uprooted. But this uprooting is not a normal uprooting of an Arahant. The Buddha uprooted Raga Dosa Moha, or I would say Lobha Dosa Moha, completely. So we call him as Bhagavan. So whenever you say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammasa, Namo Tassa Bhagavato, Bhagavato, you are thinking about someone who has no raga, who has no lobha, who has no dosa, who has lots of dana thoughts, who has lots of metta thoughts, loving kindness thoughts, what you call friendliness thoughts, who have lots of wisdom. So Bhagavan means the one who uprooted Loba, Dosa, Moha. All right. Now, going back, what we understand is that Ayam Vuchati Gahapati Saddha Sampada. Katamacha Gahapati Saddha Sampada. What is household? Another meaning, what is Saddha Sampada? When a lay person who has Saddha by ways of trusting the Buddha, how to trust the Buddha? By understanding his 9 qualities, then he will have lots of trust about the Buddha. That makes him or her creating, having, deepening, sustaining, developing sun. Now, if you want to achieve those 4 wishes before, you must start with the practice called Saddha Sampada. We call it accomplishment of the Saddha. All right, any questions? Can come and ask. You can ask questions about Saddha Sampada. What is Saddha and how does it connect to the 4 wishes? If there is anything that was not clear to you, you can ask as well.
Bhante,
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
can you can you just briefly say what is the 8 knowledges?
8 knowledges. I have a bare memory at this point. I'm going to add them onto the notes. I could tell you a couple of them. Now, one is Pubbe Nivasanusati Jnana. That means Buddha knows uh, the previous lives of anybody. He can say that this is the past life of you. These are the past lives of probably. He can go to any past life. I mean, of anybody. Another knowledge is Chutupapatanya. That means uh, he knows when and what time somebody is going to die, and then where that person is going to be reborn. Right. So in this way, there are 8. I'm going to add them onto the note, so don't worry. You can write them down. Very interesting knowledges.
Bante, good evening. Bante,
Yeah.
can we train our mind to have Buddha image in our mind so that last the before we pass away, because the time our chaitanya is very raw, very weak. So if we can keep training, now we keep training to have Buddha image in our mind, then when the time we're going to die, we can just bring the Buddha image to our mind instead of thinking of our past generosity deed, because at time our chaitanya is very weak, we may not able to recall our past good deeds. We just that bring Buddha's image to the mind. Is it will it
Yeah.
benefit our next
Yes.
destination? Thank you.
Well, the answer to that question is we normally know that if you are having a natural death, uh, mostly your Chetana might be weak, mostly, as you say, it's true. But it might not be to some people. It might be, it might not. But I think rather than thinking about the Buddha image, why don't we think about the Buddha's qualities? Buddha image doesn't have the Buddha's qualities. These nine qualities. Why is Buddha Arahant? Samma Sambuddha. Why is he Samma Sambuddha? Why is he Vijayacharya? Why is he Suga? I think this has some work to do. Otherwise, if you think, I'm going to die now, so I have to think about Buddha statue. I'm going to die now. So you have fear, lots of fear. And then because of fear, you are going to look at the Buddha statue. That fear is not a good thing. Unless you have a very calm mind, now I see the Buddha statue. But normally, if somebody is going to do this, I think it's a risk thinking that I'm going to die anytime now. I have to see the Buddha because I have lots of fear. But if you think about the Buddha's qualities, as I said today, that might be a good plan because you are going to think about a lot of things. Your knowledge comes up, your heart comes up, and you are joyfully think about. You might go to some Dhamma matters that will help you to overcome fear. That fear has to be overcome. You all have a fear about the death by decree. That fear will be less. So, anyways, thinking about the Buddha is a very good plan in the practice, but we never know what time we're going to die. That's why I said earlier, I think last Monday, practice satipatthanas. That's the best plan. But if we know that we are given a choice to think about now we're going to die, then thinking about the Buddha's qualities might be a good idea. Even maybe you can place a Buddha statue in front of that person by looking at that Buddha statue, but thinking about the real Buddha who had nine great qualities can help that person's passing away.
Yeah, thank you, Bante, for explaining. That remind me of this Ajahn Chah in Thailand. They call Budo, Budo, Budo. You know, so they keep
I
on.
think I cannot hear you, probably.
Thank you, Bante, for the
No, not
explanation.
yet.
This remind me of the Thailand Ajahn Chah. They always use the word Budo, Budo, Budo.
I cannot hear you. Suranga, can you help? Yes.
Bante, can you hear me now?
No. Yet.
Bante, can you hear me now? Bante, can you hear me? Bante, can you hear me?
Probably you can come forward and talk to. Probably. I don't know. Maybe. No.
Hello, hello. Am I audible, Bante?
Check.
Yes. Yes. Please go ahead.
Bante, thank you for the explanation. That remind me of this Ajahn Chah in Thailand where they meditate using Budo, Budo, Budo. So if they keep on practicing Budo, Budo, so that the tendency maybe the last thought will be Budo, and then they will remind, oh, this is Budo, the extraordinary characteristic of the Buddha. So would they help? Would it help also, Bante? Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Now, not even Buddha, we have to understand who is the Buddha. Why do we have to go to Buddha first, second, third time? And we have to understand these nine. I always encourage you now here. This is not about our death. Dhamma is for not dying. Dhamma is for this life. So when we are going to die, this practice will help us to uh, spend that moment very well and to be reborn in a better place. So I think, according to our suttas readings here and then in other suttas, it is better to understand these nine great qualities and then to think about Arahan, Samma, Sambuddho, Vichachan, Sampan, Sugato, Lokavitu, and all that, not just the Buddha. Like in Mahayana, they might say Amitabha, the living Buddha, but we have to understand that we are not simply feared. We are reflecting about the Buddha. We have an understanding about the Buddha, not just saying his name as a mantra just because we are scared to die. We are going to reflect about our understanding. Why is he? I think you have work to do at that point. So, Arahant Samma Sambuddha Vidyacana Sampana Sugata Lokavidu. These nine, if you can then think about you, maybe you might not be able to physically say that, but you know what those nine are. It will definitely help you have a good rebirth. Yes. But here, what I was trying to say is Saddha. Now, folks, I think the time has already come to the end, but I would like to summarize today for those who might not have a clear picture. Until last Monday, we were discussing Pattakamma Sutta in terms of 4 wishes of a layperson. You all have those 4 wishes. And then the Buddha says, after giving those 4 wishes of lay people, in order for lay people to come through those wishes, they must practice another 4 states of mind. They are highly, highly important spiritual qualities. Today we did the first one. We call it Saddha. Saddha means trusting about the Buddha, initiate Dhamma Sangha as well. So, how to trust the Buddha? Trust about his enlightenment, his awakening. How to trust his enlightenment? By understanding his 9 great qualities. Going beyond the literal sense of those 9. Why is he Arahant? Why is he Samma? Why is he Vijacharan Samma? Why is he Sugata, Lokavidu, Anuttaro Pusadam Santi? Why is he Sattadevamsa? Why is he Buddha? Why is he Bhagavan? This understanding will prepare you to have unshaken Sattva. Unshaken. That unshaken Sattva is the what you call symbol, is the nature that we can say, you have enough Sattva. Then you can go to the next quality, which you call Sila. Saddha Sila. Saddha is very important. Never disrespect Saddha. Respecting the Buddha, respecting Dhamma, respecting Sangha is very, very important to keep our practice. Otherwise, just by reading a book, someone might say, no, I have to rationalize. That is also important. In the Kalama Sutta, Buddha says we have to rationalize, we have to intellectualize, but keep in mind, if you are not developing saddha on the side, your knowledge will make you a dull person. Your knowledge will only make you what you call a cunning person, because it's just a knowledge. So you have to bring the both simultaneously, hand in hand, balance out. That is how you're going to bring saddha on the Dhamma journey, bringing forward, carrying forward in your Dhamma journey. All right, so let's then transfer the good karmas to the departed ones and share with the devas. May all the good karmas which we've been making today, by understanding what is the fulfillment, or maybe accomplishment of saddha in terms of fulfilling 4 wishes in your life, be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me nyati nanghu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idam me nyati nanghu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idam me nyati nanghu sukita huntu nyatayo. May Deva, Naga, Maitika also share all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of you, your family members, for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. May Devanaga Mahitika also be well and happy. At the same time, may they also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe sattha anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu lokasasana. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desana. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mang paranti chirang rakkhantu mang sadanti. Also, we are making a wish at the end of every good karma. May we be able to be in the company of Kalyana Mitras till we end our samsaric journey. May all these good karmas be supportive for us to make this wish. Imina punya kammene mami bala samagamu satang samagamu yavani bala patya. Finally, may all the good karmas be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silisse nichang baddha pachaino chattaru dhamma baddhanti ayuvanu sukhang balang ayurarugya sampatti sagga sampatti me vachir ato nibbana sampatti iminati saminchatu sadhu sadhu sadhu. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next Monday at the same time. Hope that you have a safe journey back home.